Orion versus Black Diamond. Which portfolio platform is right for you and your RIA? Now, full transparency, you're probably like, Harrison, you're not a financial advisor and a financial planner. You would be correct. I am a techie. And techies love tech. We can see through the trash. We can see through the marketing gimmicks. I want to give you my side of the most important things that you need to know if you are going to decide whether or not Orion versus Black Diamond. I have spent hours getting ready for this video, from research to digging through to see what they truly are trying to either sell you or what you actually get for your money. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from Secure Wealth IT. We help financial firms make sure that not only they pick the right technology, but make sure that technology works the way they want it to. Making sure that computers print, employees are set up, employees that are terminated are correctly offboarded, and also making sure that compliance is done correctly. Because just because a software says that compliance is done on their end does not mean it's actually safe and secure and done the way that the SEC wants it to be done. If you want to learn more about us, you can head over to securewealthit.com. We have a ton of information over there about us, our services, resources, finance calculators. You can obviously subscribe on YouTube, a very active blog that we are constantly adding more stuff to. But if you want to grab our resources, and if you want us to create something, send us a message, leave a comment down below. We work super hard on creating some of these, and I have a ton of new stuff that's coming out. I know I keep saying it. It takes a long time. It's one thing to create something. It's another thing to send it to a designer and work with a designer to get it looking exactly how we want. But in this video, we are doing a super deep dive because you're about to potentially sign a 5-year agreement with a software that runs quite literally your whole firm. If you pick wrong, you might be stuck for years, because trust me, those contracts are super tight and they are not letting you out anytime early. So by the time this video is over, you'll know exactly what you should be picking. Now, I will say my side of it is all data driven based on the information that I've seen, what I think is really important, but you might like the way one looks. That's okay too. My job is just to bring you the best techie side of it as I possibly can. So why is this choice a big deal? Like I mentioned, it's a 5-year contract, but also at the end of it, all of this comes into play. Your entire team, portfolio management software is the core 3 systems in every firm, right next to your CRM and planning. It's essentially the command center where everything is happening. And the key with this video is switching is brutal. There's really no way that I could put it, right? You have data migrations where you're taking data from one system, bring it over to another one, and hopefully it gets ingested correctly, meaning uploaded and it's formatted correctly. You have staff retraining, which could take quite a while. We are all humans and creatures of habit. And then also client confusion. Now, in most cases, it's probably not that bad. It's a quick email, but they're used to certain things. And firms can take 30 days to kind of get on board, but between data migrations and training, it could take 3 to 12 months before you feel like that nice sigh of relief that everything is done correctly. And there's a hidden risk, right? And it's not just features. It is broken reporting that you might be worried about, messy data conversions, and lost client trust because switching is a pain in the butt. So it's a pretty big decision. Now, there are people deciding to change all of the time. Hopefully this video helps you. And if you're just picking one, this is probably a fantastic video for you to watch. So let's talk about the philosophies of these things, because it's really important that I give you kind of the meat and potatoes of this before I even go into why you should pick. Orion is the all-in-one CRM, portfolio accounting, trading, planning, and compliance under one roof. Now, when I say compliance, yes, they are doing some level of the compliance. They are making sure that your system is archiving data as much as it's supposed to, that it's somewhat encrypted, at least on their end. That does not mean compliance on your physical computers, making sure that multi-factor authentication and things like that are actually turned on. But basically, when it's in their world, it is compliant data. Your computer accessing it may not be compliant. Just want to make sure, because sometimes they say, well, it's compliant. It's actually not. They're not creating the documentation you need for the SEC. Now you have the Black Diamond on the other hand, right? It is reporting first. It is the best in class reporting and complex portfolio handling, bar none. And there are other tools added to basically make it a full-blown software. So just something to keep in mind as we actually go through this. And a simple test is, do you want fewer vendors and one workflow, or the best possible client-facing reports and complex asset handling? Now, before you come after me and you're like, Harrison, why is there just not one? I don't know. I don't build them, right? There's no better. It's really just what's best for you. They are built for different types of firms. So let me go through which one is actually which. Now, I mentioned compliance in the beginning of this video. And just to pull up the websites here, you can actually go through. If you want to get Black Diamond, it is sscblackdiamond.com. And then we also have the Orion umbrella and then Redtail Technologies, which is an Orion company, just to kind of get a quick lay of the land as I go through some of these things. And you'll also see here, if you look up top, there's a Morningstar Office shutdown. I'm going to get to that here by the end of this video because it is extremely important and why there was a massive shift in the industry. So let's talk about Orion, because I think Orion is really interesting. But it was founded in 1999. It grew from portfolio accounting into a full platform through buying and building. It also owns Redtail. Now, Redtail is a CRM bought in 2022. And Eclipse trading, right? Added hidden levers, risk, and brinkers. On the investment side, it is a basically scale as of late 2025 around $5.8 trillion in assets under the Orion umbrella. So it's a fantastic company, and I say that because it's large, it has the revenue, it has the money to actually drop into these things, and they're innovating, right? Meet Orion Denali AI, things that are constantly coming out, and I love companies that innovate, right? So between that, the administration and $8 million tech accounts, tech accounts, that is a massive amount. And it ranks number one in market share for portfolio accounting, CRM, and the all-in-one software per T3 industry surveys. This is not information that I am making up. This is, hey, I thought about this. I went out. I wanted to make sure that I got you the best possible data. So this is Orion, right? It's a great company as far as what they do. And you could see Redtail CRM. Who would have guessed? Portfolio accounting, trading, planning, risk intelligence, compliance, client portal, advisor portal. So it's truly a lot in here. The nice part is it really is the all-in-one. And if you look at Redtail, it is an Orion company. It's under that Orion umbrella. But now let's talk about the SS&C Black Diamond Wealth Solutions, because this is a whole other one. Now, it is owned by SS&C Technologies. So a quick history, just so you're aware. Black Diamond launched in 2005. Advent Software bought it in 2011, and then SS&C bought Advent in 2015. So SS&C didn't go out and buy Black Diamond directly. It was through acquisition. This is a common mix-up that I see all the time online, but just so you're aware of what actually happened. Now, in August of 2025, SS&C pulled its wealth products under one umbrella. So, and one brand, essentially. SS&C Black Diamond Wealth Solutions. Say that 1,000 times fast. Brutal, right? That now folds into a CRM, Selenica, an alternative data tool, Accord, and Trust Services, right? So that's really what they're doing. And if you look at their solutions here, you can see they have a CRM, they have the streamlined portfolio management, optimize operations and business insights, and then expand trust services. And you could go through, and I encourage you to get, before I go any further, demos in all of these. I also encourage you to at least do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. Now, I want to talk a little bit about scale, because these guys are far from small, right? The SS&C reports more than 3,000 wealth firms across its platform, with roughly 2,700 on Black Diamond itself. Knowing this is a massive thing, because it's not like they're a new company or a small company. It's big. And they have a reputation. They won the Best Client Consolidated Reporting at Wealth Tech America Awards in 2024 and 2025. Huge. So let's talk about the head-to-head, because there is a head-to-head here that these two are both competing for, and it's really important. I want to go through several different categories I've pulled together, and at least from what I have seen on the platforms, demos, and tutorials on how to use these, this is the information that I have been able to pull, as well as doing tons of homework online. The first, and probably the easiest, is portfolio accounting and reconciliation. Orion is a deep multi-custodian and multi-currency support solution, which is great. It reconciles with custodians overnight before the market actually opens, which is always a win. Then you also have Black Diamond, which is strong accounting built with complex situations in mind. And then alternatively is really good with trusts and illiquid assets. In my opinion, the verdict is a tie. Orion for trading and Black Diamond for complexity. Now, you might be thinking, Harrison, why do I want complexity? I, as a techie, love to be able to control everything. But that's why I run a PC. Now, there's other people that love the Mac environment where it's just simple and works the way that they want it to. Me, I want moving backgrounds. I want it to connect with speakers, lights, all that kind of stuff. I can turn on most of the lights in my office from my phone or my computer. I love complexity and being able to control everything the way that I want. It's just how we techies actually are. But let's talk about reporting and client presentation. Orion is solid and customizable. It is functional far more than flashy. I will say, based on what I've actually seen as far as reports go, and I don't want to pull up the reports because it's going to take me forever to go find them, but it is functional and it works. It is far from flashy. It's not crazy, but it's not the flashiest, super catchy type thing. Black Diamond, on the other hand, is it's the crown jewel. Right? I've kind of mentioned it before, but reports are wildly called the best looking and most client friendly in the industry, bar none. So my verdict, Black Diamond crushes this one. If you are a reports person and you love going over the data, sitting down with clients, and you want them to see the best reporting possible, yes, Black Diamond is the way to go. It's super polished and super well done. Now, trading and rebalancing. This is information that is what I have found on the internet. Orion Eclipse is considered industry leading, right? Household trading, tax loss harvesting, and deep rebalancing rules are built into the platform. Black Diamond, on the other hand, is capable, but it's not the main focus. So if you're looking for that one, Orion is the clear winner. Now, my favorite category is customer relationship manager, your CRM, the thing that's going to help you build the business. It is my favorite thing to talk about. Why? Because I'm not an advisor and I'm not going through tax planning, all these things. I like data and seeing what the data actually is. A CRM, your customer relationship manager, is where you're having those conversations and where they're actually being logged. Now, Orion, right off the bat, has Redtail, which is arguably one of the best out there, right? Redtail is built into it, so you don't have to worry about it. It's under that umbrella. It is the most used CRM among advisors. Now, I've talked about CRMs in the past too. You have Wealthbox and plenty of other ones, whereas you have Black Diamond, and Black Diamond does not have a native CRM. You need to integrate it with one of Selentica, Redtail, Wealthbox, Salesforce, one of those. This is a what's your preference? Do you want the best reporting or do you want the all-in-one? If you want the all-in-one, Orion is easily the best because it's just built in. Where Black Diamond, now you have to go get Selentica, Redtail, Wealthbox, Salesforce, whatever CRM that you would actually prefer. But that's how it's broken down. You have to add those in. Now, before you're worried, there are integrations that are already done. You don't have to go out and build them. They are fairly simple to set up. It might take a little bit of work, but it's nothing that's going to crush you. On the flip side of things, if you want it all just built into one platform, Orion is clearly going to be the actual winner there. Financial planning. Once again, this is data that I could find. Orion, right, has a native Orion planning software built in, also connects with Right Capital, eMoney, and Money Guide or Money Guide Pro, depending on which one you're actually on. Black Diamond, on the other hand, has no native planning historically. It just doesn't, right? It has added a native planning tool built in with Right Capital and is still integrating with the bigger planners actually out there. So just something to keep in mind. It's kind of six in one, half a dozen in the other, in my opinion. I would say the slight edge goes to Orion just because it's all baked in, but the gap is closing. These companies are working frivolously to close the gaps to be the best of the best. And it wouldn't be surprising to me if Black Diamond started adding some more of these and Orion trying to improve what they already have. Now, at some point or another, your clients are going to need to go somewhere. They need to go to their client portal. Orion, solid portal with a mobile app. I've seen it, I've been in it, I've enjoyed it. I don't think it's anything crazy, but it's a good app. Performance views, documents, aggregation is always nice. Black Diamond, on the other hand, has a fantastic portal. Highly rated, as most people would say. Configurable dashboards, a document vault, a full net worth view, which is always nice. But one caveat: the mobile client access gets weaker, and it really isn't that strong, right? If you are somebody that wants to put somebody on a mobile app, right? But otherwise, the Black Diamond portal is fantastic, and I'd have to give the win over to them. Also, one of the last and probably most important things: alternatives and multi-entity households. There's a bunch of fancy words that typically didn't mean anything in my world, but Orion is good at improving, and Black Diamond is excellent. This is just the information I have found. I don't really know what to look for, if I'm being honest, but this is the information that I have scoured the internet for to make sure. Please go check them out yourself. But Black Diamond is excellent. Built for private equity, hedge funds, real estate trusts, LLCs, and foundations. Black Diamond is a clear winner. People are raving about it on the internet when it comes to that type of stuff. So just something to keep in mind. And then integrations and AI. My favorite, and I saved it for the last, right? Orion is one of the widest integration ecosystems out there. It is crazy. If you go over and you look at some of their tools and what they actually integrate with, resources, you can find their integrations through here, wealth management, and as you click through it, you'll see it, as well as Redtail. They don't hide anything, support onboarding knowledge base. You can go through these, Redtail University, the products, integrations, right? There's the integrations, 100 plus, and they also have it hidden on here as well. Huge. I mean, it's not like it can't connect. It connects with everything in the space. It makes it very, very, very nice. I am a sucker for integrations and making things work. Hence why I try to control as much as I can from my phone, right? Most fintech vendors just, I feel like everybody kind of leans towards Orion because of that. And it's usually one of the first things, if there's a new technology coming out, boom, they go right to them. Also, they launched Denali AI, an enterprise AI layer across the platform in early 2026. And also, I just did a video as well, but they have compliance texting for it, right? And they do have some level of AI that they are really, really working on, as you saw down here, right? Meet Orion Denali AI. Advisors don't need more tech. They need connected tech that works together. Denali AI brings data, workflows, and insights across the Orion ecosystem. Chef's kiss, although I do hate an M dash in there. Whereas on Black Diamond side, you have it kind of sits in the middle of the stack by design, right? It is a pre-networked with 35 plus solutions, and basically it's a fancy way of saying they have 35 integrations pre-built out that work immediately. The one thing that was kind of crazy is it now integrates with Morningstar's direct advisory suite from their reporting hub. That is, and their research. That is really, really important. So, which one's better on that front? Orion on the depth that it actually goes, but Diamond on being a clean reporting hub and working with AI. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. But I want to give you my full take on this because I am the IT person and the security side, right? Vendor risk is real. Your portfolio platform holds your most sensitive data, from client data to what's actually happening, markets. I mean, it truly everything. That makes vendor due diligence and really easy, but also a compliance issue. It's not just an IT one. There's a lot of complexity around that. And if you tie this into regulation S&P, you have to make sure that each vendor, now they typically do, but they have data safeguards, breach notifications, and how they handle your data is a real thing that unfortunately you have to think about. or your IT or compliance person has to think about making sure that these things are real. This is not something up for debate. This is what the SEC wants. And just because they say that they are compliant doesn't mean they're really compliant. And if they say you are 100% compliant with us, they're lying to you. I'm sorry, right? But things that you should ask, right? Data feeds, right? And how access control works and how to limit access control. You don't want your secretary being able to go in and see everybody's data. Maybe you do, but that's your decision, not theirs, and something to actually ask when going through these demos. And I encourage you to check them both out, right? Another thing is business continuity. That's a very fancy term in our world. But what is the uptime? How often their platform is up and usable? Now, their website and their back end are two totally different things. So if you're like, every time I go to their website, it just seems to work. Yes, but their back end, the system, what is their guarantee? And what happens if your data, if you can't access your data, how long is that up? How long is those updates going to take? Can you get a clean export if you did have to leave them? And what does that export look like? Now, thankfully, both of these companies are in competition with each other. So depending on the types of data, you can export it and then ingest it into the new platform. It should go fairly smoothly, but it is kind of a pain in the butt at the end of the day, right? But going through, the demo will show you the pretty reports. My job is to make you ask, unfortunately, the boring security questions. How are they handling Regulation SP? Are they updating their notifications, right? What happens if I get tired of your platform or it's just not living up to the expectations you guys set for me? Or how long can it be down before I'm allowed to leave your platform without repercussions? How long is the data archived? Do you hold the data longer than it needs to be archived? These are important questions to ask each company. They're not the fun ones. I apologize, but they are the ones that you need to ask. Now let's talk about pricing. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of pricing. There is, to a degree, with Redtail Technologies. You can actually see pricing, but this is a CRM. This is not the full suite. They keep that under lock and key. They want you to go through a quoting process. Who would have guessed? Black Diamond is the exact same thing. But there is a total cost of ownership that I do want to bring up because we talked about Orion kind of having everything under one umbrella. And in some cases, I'd be willing to bet that you could probably get Redtail, as it's a part of the Orion stack, integrated and with that purchase and with that umbrella that you're actually getting. Black Diamond, on the other hand, usually prices around your firm size, often tied to assets. That's just how they roll. But you have to keep in mind that Black Diamond doesn't have certain things like that CRM and potentially additional other features that you may want. So some quick little hidden math that I've just done, right? If you are going with Black Diamond, since it has no CRM or planning, you need to add roughly $2,000 to $8,000 a year for a CRM. Now you're probably like, Harrison, how on earth is it that expensive? Well, I mean, if it's just one person, right, it's really not that big of a deal. But as you begin to add more and more people to your team, that's when that cost starts to go up. So you might have to add several $1,000s or use an additional tool that isn't Redtail, like Wealthbox. Now, they're both approximately and fairly close to the same price, but how many people are on your team? How many people are actually using it? How many people do you need a planning software? Probably, right? That's going to be an additional several $1,000s per year. So that cost immediately narrows that gap where Black Diamond might come in cheaper, but there are hidden things that you have to buy. Where with Orion, they have all of that kind of built in. However, you have to watch for the add-on fees. Sometimes they might not include certain things and they want to kind of feel you out and see what they realistically can charge you for it. There's a whole quoting process, not an interview, but they want to see what your actual needs are. But the real cost question is not the sticker price. It is the total cost of ownership across all of the tools that you actually need. Before you make a purchasing decision on these, figure out what you actually need, how many people actually need it, and how much is it going to cost for all of them. It's a crazy way to do a 3, right? We have to make sure that that is the case. Otherwise, there are going to be some crazy things that happen. Now, in the beginning of this, I mentioned Morningstar. Now, you might know what Morningstar is, but Morningstar shut down their office, and it is a stark reminder that these companies can potentially shut down. Making sure your data is accessible, making sure that you can move. However, affected advisors must now decide whether to move to Black Diamond, highlighting the basically what happened. And to give you the TLDR, too long didn't read. That's a technical term in our world. But what happened is Morningstar basically worked out a deal with Black Diamond to bring people over to Black Diamond, and thousands of people had to move. I want to say right around 1,600 if my memory serves me correctly. So Black Diamond had the ability to acquire a ton of new customers from Morningstar closing. And part of that deal was if you went to Black Diamond, you would have continued Morningstar research access, which for some people was amazing, and for other people they might not actually care, right? But here's the catch. It reportedly came with a 5-year contract. And many firms took the easy way out because not only did they work out that deal, they worked it out so it would be easier to migrate over, locking people in to a 5-year contract. And I will probably make this video again in 5 years with some drastically different information. But my honest advice based on all of this, especially the technical side, even inside a contract, you can still fix workflows, reporting, and security gaps that you work with the company on. That is where the right IT partner is going to help educate you on what's the most important thing. If you want to check out Secure Wealth IT, you are welcome to check out Secure Wealth IT, available at securewealthit.com. Learn more about us. You can read about our team, services that we offer, but that is truly the most important thing that you can make a decision on. So, at the end of this video, we have to pick what's the right thing. You choose Orion if you want one vendor to run most of the firm, which is kind of nice. Trading and rebalancing efficiency matter to you, and you serve a range of clients, not just the ultra wealthy. It is a best fit profile for a growing RIA between $200 million and $2 billion in assets that want to consolidate its tech stack. Now, you could probably go past $2 billion. I shouldn't say you probably. I know you can go past $2 billion, but that's really their sweet spot. If you have ultra high net worth individuals, Black Diamond can absolutely be the winner. Black Diamond is fantastic for client reporting, right? If quality of reports is your differentiator, easy win. You serve high net worth clients, right? As I mentioned, family offices and complex multi-entity households is another one. You also want an alternative to client portfolios and how they're handled, right? That is a massive thing for them. And you are fine adding your own CRM and planning tools in there. Its best fit is fantastic for wealth managers serving $5 million plus clients where premium presentation justifies premium pricing. That is the information that I can provide to you. This is after hours and hours and hours of research. I took the whole last week to get this data so that way I could present it as good as possible. If you have questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down in the comments down below. I appreciate everybody for watching this video, and hopefully I've earned a subscribe button and a like button at this point. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.